If you're watching this video, chances are you had your house on the market and it did not sell. Chances are you're very frustrated and trying to learn the reason or the reasons your house did not sell. I'm Judy Horn and I work with my husband Nelson Horn. We're realtors in the greater Palm Springs area and we like to share reasons that houses do not sell. A few housekeeping tips before we get started. First, if you're a realtor, you're not invited to this presentation. Next, Nelson and I filmed this video with the tiny ZI-8 camera by Kodak. We have no cinematic experience, and as you're about to find out, we have no presentation skills either. But we believe our message is so powerful that you will stay with us throughout the entire 3 videos in this series. At first, we thought we could impart our message in 1 video, but we found out in order to have any meat and any value, we had to extend it to the 3 where it currently is right now. That being said, let's talk about what's in each of these sections. The first section, we're going to be talking about your realtor. The second section deals with something so extremely important, so make sure you get a pad and your pencil. It's called a marketing plan. Thirdly, we pulled the internet out and we're going to take a good hard look at that. We're also going to talk about pricing of the property and you yourself. That being said, let's get started with the realtor. Why did you pick your realtor? Did you pick your realtor because he or she said someone was interested in buying your home, he had a buyer, so you entered into a contract only to find out the sale never occurred? You could have avoided that with something called the single party listing agreement, whereby you would have had your realtor identify the person or persons to purchase the property within a certain time frame. If that never materialized, you wouldn't have been into that lengthy contract. Did you pick your realtor because they told you they sell their own listings? Well, in California, we call that dual agency, and it's perfectly legal. The Code of Ethics for realtors says that the fiduciary responsibility in that situation is to the homeowner, not to the buyer, which is a very interesting concept. The reality of the situation is, for a realtor to have the ability to glean both sides of that commission is a very, very powerful force. And sometimes both parties, the buyer and the seller, aren't well represented. Personally, Nelson and I will never get involved in a dual agency. One of us will take one side of the contract, the other side goes to the other of us. Anyway, perhaps you chose your realtor because you had a realtor that said they had lots and lots of listings, which makes that person sound extremely successful. But that's not the whole story. Folks, there are realtors out there who will take any listing, even though they know that listing will not sell. Now, you ask, why would they do that? Well, first of all, having a lot of listings and a lot of pictures in the paper gives the impression that this is a successful realtor. And people such as yourself might think that this is the person that needs to represent them on the sale of their house. Next, there are brokerages out there who do advertising for free for their realtors. Again, that means lots of free advertising, drawing more people to them. Now, another reason a realtor would take an overpriced listing is those overpriced listings tend to sell the realtor's other property. Overpriced listings, or it's not just overpriced, maybe even the condition of the house, but overpriced listings tend to make the rest of the homes that are in line with current marketing and current conditions look all that more of a good deal. So you're kind of like the poster child for what not to buy. Now, how do you protect yourself against this? What you need to do is you need to ask a series of questions. First of all, from this type of realtor with a lot of listings, you ask what percentage of your listings sell. That alone does not give the whole story, because there's a dirty little practice out there where some realtors never want to have an expired listing on their record. So what they do is, before it comes time for a listing to expire, they will go out and enter it as a canceled status, put it on a hold status, or put it on a withdrawn status. And what do you have? You have a listing that does not get registered as expired. So those are a few of the questions. You also want to get at the realtor who has taken a contract that they know is not going to sell and assume by having that person in that contract, the homeowner, they can beat them down over a period of time and get that price or conditions more in line with the market. That failing, very often what happens to the homeowner who will not budge in the circumstances, they get little support, if any, and little marketing on their home. So beware. Now, here's another one. Perhaps you picked your agent because it was a family member, it was an acquaintance, someone from the church. At this point, you probably have realized that maybe that wasn't the best reason to pick your realtor because they didn't have the skills or the marketing expertise to get your house sold. And where are you now? In a very awkward position with your family. Now, perhaps you picked your agent because they said they were number one. Last week, the Dallas-Fort Worth area released a study in which they said the realtors in that area, there were 2,349 of them, it all claimed to be number one. That's quite a boast for number one, quite a lot of numbers. Nelson and I actually have always enjoyed people who claim to be number one, and for about 3 years we ran an ad. We had 3 black Labradors, Creole, Jezebel, and Bacchus. We would put a picture, an ad in the paper with our picture. We grouped the 3 dogs together and we put the headline, reported number one by 3 independent labs. Our animal lovers out there always commented on that particular ad. Now, I will be calling a realtor presentation interview because that's actually what it is. Some of you picked your realtor because you had a few realtors in and you interviewed them and you felt this realtor was a pretty good choice because they seemed to be in line with everything you said. Folks, I'm going to tell you, the successful realtor realizes that this interview process is a two-way street. It's not just you interviewing the realtor. The successful realtor is also interviewing you. A successful realtor puts a great deal of time, effort, and money into the sale of your home. If your house is not saleable, and if you are not the kind of person they feel they can work with, they're not going to devote their skills and their money towards trying to get this house sold. Now, the last one I'm going to leave you with is perhaps you had a realtor that said they had a team and you got very excited about it, signed on, and you found out that anytime you needed anything, the team they were talking about was a $12 clerical hour person, and you never got to talk to your realtor. You were always talking to this one person, and you were left kind of disappointed by this team concept. Now, to end this series, what people tell us over and over about when their house didn't sell was the lack of communication from their realtor. They said that they had little to no communication. They never heard about what the visitors to their home said about the house. They were not updated on market conditions, and in general they were left feeling very deserted. Watch out that this doesn't happen to you. Make sure your realtor has a communication guarantee with you where if it doesn't occur, you can pull out of the contract. The same with promises. People tell us that before the listing was accepted by the homeowner, their realtor made a lot of promises to them about what they were going to do to market their home, and that never materialized either. So again, look for realtors who offer easy exit guarantees such that if they don't live up to their promises, you need not live up to that extended contract that you've given them. That being said, the next section, section 2, part 2, is extremely important. It's all about marketing plan, and I don't mean sticking a sign in the ground and putting an ad in the paper. Please join us for section 2. Thank you. Again, this is Judy Horn of Judy and Nelson Horn at 760-285-5097.